Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samar News. Here are today's headlines.
US President Donald Trump has said that after talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, they reached no definitive agreement on how to move forward with Iran. But he insisted negotiations with Tehran would continue to see if a deal can be achieved. Netanyahu, who had been expected to press Trump to widen diplomacy with Iran beyond its nuclear program to include limits on its missile arsenal, stressed that Israel's security interests must be taken into account, but offered no sign that the president made the commitments he sought.
Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian says Tehran is ready to accept verification of its nuclear program to prove it is not seeking atomic weapons. Speaking in Tehran, he said Iran would not bow to what he called excessive Western demands, including over its missile program. The statement comes as talks with the United States continue amid deep mistrust on both sides. US President Donald Trump has hinted at deploying a second aircraft carrier to the Middle East as Washington and Tehran prepare to resume negotiations aimed at preventing a new conflict. Trump said he was considering the move despite ongoing diplomatic efforts. Talks between the United States and Iran were facilitated by Oman last week. Iran's foreign ministry said the discussions helped gauge Washington's seriousness and showed enough common ground for diplomacy to continue.
Bangladeshis have lined up outside polling stations as voting began in a landmark general election, the first since the 2024 overthrow of longtime Premier Sheikh Hasina in a Gen Z-driven uprising. With more than 127 million eligible voters, the election is widely seen as a decisive moment for the South Asian nation of 175 million. Voting is being held in 299 out of 300 constituencies, after polling was postponed in one seat due to the death of a candidate. Direct elections are being conducted for 300 seats in Parliament, while 50 seats remain reserved for women. The suspect in a deadly school shooting in Western Canada has been identified as an 18-year-old woman with mental health issues who killed her mother and stepbrother before attacking her former school. But investigators do not offer a motive for one of the worst mass slaughters in Canadian history. Police said the killer, whom police identified as Jesse Van Rootselaar, died by suicide after the shooting on Tuesday in Tumbler Ridge. Police revised the death toll down to 9, including Van Rootselaar, from the initially reported 10.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met US Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Washington ahead of his talks with President Donald Trump. Netanyahu signed on to Trump's Board of Peace and is expected to push for tougher US demands in upcoming nuclear discussions with Iran, including limits on Tehran's missile program. Poland and Italy have decided not to be part of President Trump's proposed Board of Peace, citing legal and political concerns. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk told a government meeting that the decision was made after taking into account certain national doubts regarding the shape of the board. Giving his reason for not joining, Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani said there was an insurmountable constitutional barrier on Italy's side. However, both governments say they remain open to cooperation if the framework changes. That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samar.tv. Thank you for watching Samar News.